Okay, for our next lesson, we're looking at why have methods of preventing diseases changed so much. So we're kind of looking at a bigger overview of why preventing diseases change. So we just focused on treatments for the last previous lessons. Now we're looking at why have methods of preventing disease changed so much. So what essentially we're doing today is we're trying to analyze the change in preventing disease over time by examining modern approaches of prevention. And what I would like you to do first of all is just a kind of summary. So how does the role of government in preventing disease change over time? So we're thinking from the very start, what did the king focus on? How did that change in the Renaissance and how did that change in the industrial period when they created the poor unions? In the Renaissance, how was it different from the Middle Ages when they had the Great Plague and the mayor's orders? How has that changed in the industrial period where it was the kind of laissez-faire mentality? How is that different to the modern period in the 20th century and the 21st century where we see the development of the NHS and the government being very, very involved? Question 2, why is the germ theory important in improving the prevention of disease? So what was the impact of the germ theory? Why is it such a significant breakthrough? How did it impact our understanding of bacteria? What could we do with that knowledge of bacteria once we know about it? Any other significant medical breakthroughs help prevent disease? Is there anything that you can think of that has helped prevent disease? Any individuals that you think has developed something that could prevent something from going further? For example, Lister and carbolic acid preventing further infection. Jenner with his vaccine. Robert Koch with his purple dye. Are attempts to prevent disease more reactive or proactive? So what reactive means is it as a means of something's gone wrong, we need to act? Or is it something that they're trying to stop beforehand? So the best thing that we can see is that the government ends up becoming proactive. But in fact, if we take Renaissance period, for example, they're very reactive. They acted because of the Great Plague when the mayor's orders. This does indeed change over time where the government have put into something the NHS that's quite proactive. But again, you could argue that's reactive because of World War II. So think about everything we've done so far to answer that question. Now, this next page is just a kind of another summary here. So just before we do that, we're looking at this page here. So improvements to prevention. Explain the importance of each point that helped below the prevention of diseases using the boxes below. Use the information sheet to help you. So to do this page here, you need to move to this page to understand what has the government actually done. So we spoke about the idea of lifestyle campaigns in that first video in the modern period. And the idea that the government are not just doing something in terms of the NHS. You could argue they're proactive in that they're creating campaigns to make people's lifestyles better. We've got examples of vaccinations. We've got examples of Clean Air Acts. We've got examples of tackling obesity and tackling smoking. For each one, read through it, and I want you to answer in these boxes how that policy, so how did vaccination help prevent sickness and disease? How does Clean Air Acts help prevent sickness and disease? How does government lifestyle campaigns in smoking and obesity help prevent disease? Once you have done that, you can then go back to this video here and write down our improvements to prevention. So what we're looking at here is you're looking at each one. So each one's going to match up to some information here. And all you have to do is write down what each image represents. So this represents the government lifestyle initiatives. This represents vaccinations. It talks about teeth, Clean Air Acts, and I want you to write down some facts that you would have read after doing that activity. Once you've done that, you then can do this kind of summary, filling in the gaps from each time frame, and then you've already answered these questions at the top there, so you don't need to do that. After you finish that, the last thing you need to do is write a conclusion about the changes made in preventing disease over time. Now, it's really important that you are focusing on what the question is asking you. It's talking about preventing disease. So it's not about treatments, it's about preventing disease. Think about everything I've just spoken about in this video and how that has changed over time. So you can think about, you might want to start off saying that preventing diseases have changed through time to a, you could say, limited / fair / significant extent. Originally, and then you're going to tell me what happened in prevention in the Middle Ages. This changed when there were developments when. So I've just given you a few sentence starters to kind of explain to me the changes between them, and I want you to think about were they, well, you're writing conclusions, so you need to think about, were these changes any good? Did those changes in prevention save lives? Did they improve knowledge? Did they make people healthier? Were they reactive or proactive? And that's what you need to do for this area here. And then after you've done that, I just want you to write down the summary. Oh, you can also use this, sorry, to give you a few more sentence starters. And then after you've finished, you can write the summary, just answering the question, why you think they've changed. And I want you to use the factors of medicine to explain to me why they have changed. So why have methods of prevention changed? And I want you to use factors to explain to me why. Just a brief summary on that. Okay, thank you.